look at your screen. Really look at it. What do you see? Well, most people see a graph. They see red and green candles. They see the economy. They think that the jagged line on their chart, on their screen, represents the collective productivity of the human race. They think it represents factories, shipping containers, people buying toaster ovens, but they are all wrong. That line isn't really the economy. It's a behavior modification engine, per se. It is a Skinner box designed by the smartest mathematicians in the world, and its only purpose is to transfer wealth from the impatient to the invisible. Welcome to the world, my friends, boys and girls, traders and tradettes, of zero DTE options. If you don't know, that means 0 days to expiration. Now, let's take a journey back, way back, very far back, into the ancient times, like, 3 years ago. Investing was about timing the market. It was about compound interest. It was about honing your craft, learning a skill, doing something meaningful so you became better at it and you refined your abilities, right? It was boring. It was laconic. It was robotic. It was slow. It was designed for people who expected to live past the age of 60, right? And maybe retire and go on to live out their twilight years somewhere. But the architects of the financial system realized something very crucial. The human brain doesn't want wealth, in fact. The human brain wants something else. It wants dopamine. It wants excitement. It wants serotonin. It wants reward. It wants instant gratification. It wants flashing lights and confetti buttons when you purchase a stock. It wants the prize, essentially. So they invented the financial loot box, is what I'm calling it. And what is the financial loot box? And why are so many people enamored, enraptured, and, quite frankly, made poorer and immiserated by it? Well, 0 DTEs are options that are born at 9:30 a.m. and die at 4 p.m. You pay a small fee, you open the box, and you find out if you won the legendary item, or if you just incinerated all of your rent money, or the deposit down on your car, your wedding, or your house, right? They make up nearly half of all volume on the S&P 500, which is wild if you think about it, because that's not investing. This is millions of people pulling the lever on a slot machine that is programmed to actually despise them, to actively hate them, and to take money away from them every single day. Today, we're going to be talking about the code of this simulation. We're going to look at the math they use to crush us, to meet the invisible entities taking our money, and to expose why the game is rigged to hit max pain almost every single day. So yes, my friends, put on your tinfoil hat. You're going to need it because the market is open, even though this is coming out on a Saturday, which definitely isn't an open day. Nonetheless, let's talk about this. And let's start off, as I like, with one of our friends. Today, we're going to talk about Dan. I hate to call him degenerate Dan, but his behavior is very unbecoming and unprepossessing. So to understand the trap, we have to look at the mouse, right? And how the mouse gets trapped. Let's observe a typical specimen. We'll call him Dan. Dan is about 28. He works in a cubicle farm doing data entry for a company that probably won't exist in 5 years and definitely doesn't know that he exists. Dan feels the walls are closing in on him. He knows deep down that saving 10% of his paycheck into a mutual fund, checking the S&P, will effectively burn him into a comfortable retirement in the year of 2255, right? Shortly after the water wars have begun, I'd imagine. Dan needs an escape hatch. He needs a glitch in the system, a glitch in the matrix, something that can turn his measly 10% into something gargantuan. Dan has $500. He opens up his brokerage app, the one with the confetti animations that I spoke of before. He looks at the SPY. It's trading at $500. He can buy just one share. One share is all Dan can buy. That's all he needs, he thinks. If the market rips, he buys a latte. But then Dan sees the loot box, the 0 DTE call option. It's cheap. It's trading for pennies. For his $500, he can control the fate of $500,000 worth of stock, but only for the next 6 fleeting hours. So Dan, what does he do? Dan buys the contract. Suddenly, he isn't a data entry clerk anymore. He is a real player with real skin in the game. He's in the gladiatorial arena. And all of a sudden, the market opens. The algorithm twitching in the server room in New Jersey or in London decides to push the market up 0.3%. Dan's loot box opens. Gold light spills out. Confetti abounds. His $500 turns into $2,000 in 11 minutes. This is the most dangerous moment for our friend Dan. He didn't make money because he analyzed the macroeconomic trends of interest rates. He made money because the casino gave him a complimentary win. They hooked him in. His brain is now permanently rewired synaptically and neurologically. He believes he has unlocked a secret code. He believes he is the main character and not like all of us in the market, just NPCs who can't really move it. But Dan isn't the main character. Dan is the liquidity. Now, we've spoken about liquidity before, and we don't ever want to be the exit liquidity, but sometimes in this game, and especially in zero DTEs, we definitely are. So let's talk about the complexities of this engine. Theta, gamma, in this engine of entropy, we can talk about energy transfers and wealth transfers. Well, the architects who built that system gave it some rules. Makes sense, right? They call them the Greeks. It sounds very academic. It sounds very sophisticated. It sounds very urbane. It's not. It's a bloody meat grinder. When you trade zero DTEs, you are fighting against fundamental laws of physics within a market of energy transfers, wealth transfers, velocity, and that's what the quants call theta and gamma. So what is theta? Imagine you buy a ticket from a movie, but the movie has already started, and every minute you sit there, the seat gets hotter and hotter. That is called theta. Theta is the rate at which your option dissolves into absolute nothingness, right? It's a brilliant mathematical concept and also a very hard mistress to tame. With a normal investment, time is actually your friend. But with a zero DTE option, time is like a hitman standing directly behind you with a garrote wire around your neck, right? Every second the market trades sideways, doesn't move asymmetrically, doesn't move in huge fashion, Dan is losing money. 10 a.m., his loot box cost $200. 12 p.m., nothing has changed, but now it costs $100. 2 p.m., it costs $10. That decay isn't linear. It's what we call exponential, and it accelerates as the end of the day approaches. It's designed to make you panic. It's designed to make you make mistakes. And that brings us on to the velocity of this option. It's called the gamma, right? That is a big weapon, a gamma weapon. So let's talk about what gamma actually is. Gamma is essentially the leverage. It's the nitrous oxide, it's the steroid, it's the accelerant, it's the catalyst, it's the amphetamine. When Dan made that 400% return, that was the gamma, okay? But gamma is a mercenary, and it won't be tamed. It's like working for the Wagner Group, right? It works for whoever pays the most. And quite frankly, our friend Dan is broke. If the market turns against Dan, just a tiny, insignificant dip, Gamma turns around and shoots him right in the face with a crusty AK-47 because there's no more time left. Theta, the probability of recovery, drops to zero instantly. His $2,000 profit vanishes in 2 red candles. He stares at the screen. He freezes. The sunk cost fallacy kicks in. He holds. He prays for a reversal, but the math doesn't care about his prayers because the math is agnostic. Atheistic, in fact. It's relentless. It's ungodly, impenitent, and irreverent, okay? So who are the architects who are the designers of his pain, of his max pain? If Dan is the one losing, there must be someone winning. Where does that money go? It doesn't just disappear because energy is never destroyed, it's just transferred, like the first law of thermodynamics, right? It's teleporting somewhere else. It's teleporting into the pockets of the market makers, the Citadel, the JP Morgans, the other ones all around them that their names shall not be mentioned because I can't remember them right now. It's the unseen hands. They aren't the gamblers, they are the house. They built this casino. They programmed the slots and they own the ATM machine in the lobby. The conspiracy isn't a theory, it's an actual business model that rarely loses. When Dan buys that call option, the market maker sells it to him. The market maker wants to be neutral. They don't want to bet. They just want the fee, so they hedge it. They buy the stock to offset Dan's bet, which effectively means they're going the other way, right? But here is where it gets really dark, because millions of Dans are buying millions of zero DTEs every single day, and the market makers are forced to move billions of dollars of stock to keep their books balanced, right? They have to be delta neutral. So effectively, the tail is now wagging the dog. The stock market isn't reacting to the news anymore. It's reacting to the market makers hedging against the loot boxes. And now they've got a target. It's called max pain. So what is max pain? Max pain is the specific price point at which the exact number where the highest value of options lay, both calls and puts, where they expire worthlessly, right? It's the price where the bulls lose, it's the price where the bears lose, and it's the market maker's price where they get to keep absolutely everything. Have you ever watched the market chop sideways for like completely 6 hours? It feels like it's being manipulated. That's because it probably is in terms of becoming delta neutral, right? The algorithms are pinning the price to max pain. They are bleeding down the clock. They are letting Theta eat Dan alive. So it's now 3:49 or 3:59 p.m. and the market is pinned exactly 1 penny away from Dan's strike. The loot box magically disappears. The money's gone. Poof! The market maker resets the board for tomorrow. So what's happened to Dan? You might be thinking, who cares if Dan loses his money? Dan's a degenerate. We don't care about Dan. Okay, maybe true for some of you misanthropic people. Malthusians. How disgusting. But Dan isn't alone. There are millions of Dans, and collectively, they have built this ungodly doomsday device, right? Remember what we talked about before, gamma, the nitrous oxide. When the entire market is addicted to zero DTEs, it creates a feedback loop of instability. Well, imagine a crowded theater. That's the market. Now, imagine everyone in the theater is holding a bucket of gasoline. That sounds dangerous. That's the zero DT option, essentially, right? That's the market for all of the zero DTEs. All it takes is one spark. If the market drops fast, market makers have to sell the stock to hedge. Their selling makes the market drop faster. It cascades, it feeds on itself, which makes the puts, which are the bets for the market to crash, become more valuable, which forces the market makers to sell even more stock. It's like a mechanical crash, a cascading crash, a failure of the system. And we've seen that before. We saw it in 2022. We saw it in those flash crashes, and that seemingly happened for no reason, right? The market is fragile, not because it's manipulated, but because it's hollow. It's not built on investment anymore. It's now built on day trading, bets that inspire within 5 to 6 hours, like Dan's bet, right? So we are essentially skating on ever-thinning ice. And underneath the ice is a black hole of liquidity. So how do we escape this world of zero DTEs? How do we get out of it? Or how do we not become like the food for the market, right? Because here's the truth the financial news won't probably tell you. They actually love zero DTEs. The exchange loves the fees, the brokerages love the volume, and the market makers love the free money. They have gamified financial ruin. They've turned the stock market into a mobile game with in-app purchases, with confetti, except the purchases is your life savings, right? If you trade these, understand what you're doing. You are not an investor anymore. You are a participant in a psychological experiment that is highly, highly lucrative. You are walking into a room full of the smartest algorithms that men and women have ever created in the history of humanity. And you are trying to beat them with a stick. Not even a digital stick, an actual stick, right? If you want to escape the matrix, you have to stop playing their games. You have to stop playing with the loot box. You have to stop chasing the dopamine. You have to buy time. You have to buy reality. You have to buy real things. Or don't. Be Dan. Because remember, the market is going to open again tomorrow with all those flashing lights, and the house is going to be there waiting for you. And they're going to be there to take your money. because they're smarter than you, they're faster than you, they have more resources, and they have more inside information in terms of flow and what's going on. So let's be prepared to lose absolutely everything. But don't be Dan. Don't be Dan, essentially. But yeah, hopefully that helps you understand what zero DTEs are. Now, if you still want to trade it after that, I'm sure some broker near me or you is willing to take your money. But don't say you weren't warned about the intricacies and the hellish complexities of zero DTEs. Please like, share, and subscribe my zero DTE, my YouTube channel. And I'll catch you on the next time, hopefully, if I don't reach X3 before it. Ciao for now. Bye.